Redditors who have a fetish, what is it and what is your story on it? Big same. I love all of it. Being the third party, being a cheating spouse, being cheated on. We are non-monogamous, ethical only. I would never cheat or ruin a relationship. Once he dated a woman who had done some porn in the past and I got off to watching her porn while he was on dates with her. That was peak fetish for me. Bondage and complete domination. I was in high school when I stumbled upon the more dangerous side of Pornhub and ended up watching these women become close to tears by vibrators and things like that. As a woman myself, I was completely turned off by the idea of being handled like that. But tastes changed, man. As I got to be more sexually active, I realized how much fun toys were, and ended up meeting this guy, one night stand, who was also into the more dominant side of sexual pleasure. I let him tie me up, just to experiment, and goddamn, never went back. We both became friends with benefits shortly after until he found this current girlfriend, but those nights were so damn enjoyable. Being dominated, choked, handled like a toy. Don't get me wrong, sweet love is great, but I don't think I can ever just take regular sex permanently ever again. I have a really hard time allowing myself to be vulnerable, and the first time I was tied down/gagged I had a panic attack. But now I love it. I literally can just lay there and it's totally acceptable, lol. Of course I enjoy also being the one to do a lot of the work, but there's something freeing about being out of control. Moaning. Oh my gosh, in my experience men rarely make any sort of noise during sex. My current partner moans a little bit and it turns me on so much. Sometimes when we're not doing anything sexual and he just clears his throat I get wide-eyed, lol. I'm too embarrassed to tell him and I don't want to make him feel uncomfortable or self-conscious. But damn, hearing a guy moan, especially when I'm riding him or blowing him, just really gets me off. Hearing him audibly express he's getting off from what I'm doing to him. Oh my god, me too. My so is noisy and it is just amazing. And I'm in the same boat as you. I've never told him. I'm afraid he will stop if I bring attention to it. He doesn't know that's the reason he gets so much head. All I can say is that I like doing it. One of the first things that made me crazy about him was his voice. My absolute favorite sound in the world is the breath catch. Like when you're giving head and you take it out of your mouth and flick the tip with your tongue while looking him in the eye, and he takes that quick little gasp of air. Yeah, definitely my favorite. Shoes. I'm crazy for shoes. Growing up, it was heels and boots. These days, maybe more sneakers. I put it down to Miss Rogers, my 9th grade English teacher. She was the epitome of a stereotypical hot teacher, hair in a bun with a pencil in it, glasses halfway down her nose, crisp white blouse undone a little, pencil skirt, tights. And the shoes, these pretty turquoise heels, with flower petals on the toe. I'd spend all class staring at them. I was a bit hyperactive as a kid. One afternoon, I was drumming on the desk with my hands. She told me to stop, but I wound her up, and up, and up. Until she snapped. In front of a full classroom, she said, "Trudies, if you don't stop, I'm going to stand on your hands with my heels. And they are block heels. It'll hurt." She knew. Postscript, over time, my thing for shoes has kind of developed into object sexuality. I got really into glasses, then other clothes, jewelry, and now I'm kind of at the point where I sexualize a lot of inanimate objects. They just have to belong to someone, or it doesn't can't work. I have no idea anymore, Lamau. I have a similar hot teacher story. She wore knee-length skirts and those Ugg boots with the fur. Now the furry boot and bare calf combo really turns my crank. It's not a fetish in the sense that it's a requirement for me to become aroused, but I really like making my partner orgasm. That might seem obvious enough, but it's to the point where if I'm having sex with someone and they say anything along the lines of "you're going to make me cum/I'm coming/keep doing that/etc." I just lose it. It's wild. I can be having sex, not feeling particularly close to finishing myself, but if my partner comes and tells me she's coming, that's a wrap for me. I've had to start telling partners that they can't tell me they're about to come, and instead that they should tell me when they've already started coming. The first fetish I became aware of was charophilia, a hand fetish. I had a friend call me out on it years ago because I guess I mentioned people's hands a lot. I later admit to myself that yeah, I have a hand fetish. The signs were all there. I used to follow an account dedicated to photos of my old celebrity crushes' hands. Oh, and I remember watching an episode of The Daily Show where Trevor Noah interviewed Bernie Sanders. Bernie was talking about something very important, but my hearing went out when the camera changed angles and Trevor's hands were up close in the frame. Somehow I tuned out everything that Bernie said and hyper-focused on Trevor's hands. Bernie Sanders is not a quiet man by any means, but his voice was tuned out upon seeing Trevor's immaculate-looking hands. Only few people know I have a hand fetish. It's not a secret, but I don't tell everyone either. I have two. I have one for going for a walk at night with a girl, having the most pointless hypothetical conversations, taking a blanket and some drinks and finding a quiet spot up a hill, cuddling her and just experiencing the beauty of it. The tranquility, the feeling of just being in that moment, being able to have meaningful conversations with someone you cherish, being out in the cold and yet feeling so warm. You look out over the night lights of the town you both grew up in but spent your life oblivious to each other until recently. You share stories from your life, tell jokes, sit quietly and look at the night sky and just be. You don't have to try to do anything, you can just exist together. You both turn to look at each other amongst the deafening silence, exchange eye contact for a fleeting second. Time stands still, it feels like you've known them for 1,000 years and you're the only people on Earth. You jokingly pinch yourself to see if you're in a dream, but nope, it's real. You spend all night there until the sun comes up, getting to know that person's hopes, dreams, regrets, failures, imperfections, insecurities and story. There's that one, and then fisting is the other. Men with long hair and lots of chest hair. When you can see a bit of chest hair spilling out a man's button-down. It's like cleavage for me. I love playing with a man's long hair, batting it around like a cat, smelling it, grabbing it when they are going down on me. Stroking a man's chest hair is also soothing. I'm weird. Other kinks would be having a man lay me across his lap and spank me. Specifically the laying across his lap part. I enjoy all spanking, but this scenario is my favorite. Also, light choking during sex. I don't want to feel like I'm dying, but a hand gently around my neck is so nice. Same with a hand over my mouth. A hand placed gently over my mouth while I'm being fucked is amazing. I also get off doing the choking/smothering in return. So I guess that makes me a switch. Public sex is also fun. I've had sex just about everywhere. It's just that when I'm horny and my partner is physically present, I'm down to do it wherever we are. So it's not that I desire/fetishize public sex, it just happens. I still feel really bad about this. About 4 years ago I had a really close female friend that I had done the deed with a few times, but we never officially started dating. Anyways, she had always been really submissive, but one day she told me about her DD/LG fetish and how she wanted to do that with me. My knee-jerk reaction was a blunt "ass lol, that's so weird." She took it well in the moment and I didn't even notice that it affected her. We started hanging out less after that until eventually she got a boyfriend and we pretty much stopped hanging out altogether. I never did apologize for my reaction and just feel that at this point it's just too ancient of history and would be weird to bring up, but I still feel like a complete piece of shit for it. I've kind of got a foot halfway into this space, but I think a big reason why it's so looked down upon is so many people who are into it don't turn it off when they're around other people. I don't know why this kink in particular comes out in public more often, but I understand the reaction against it. People don't want to be involved in other people's kinks, and even if you aren't doing something sexual, acting out the DD/LG roles around others is bringing them into that kink. For you, let your freak flag fly with your partners, there's nothing wrong with wanting a caretaker. Incest, specifically, read, exclusively, brother/sister. I had a huge crush on this girl in high school. Super bubbly, beautiful, fun-sized with big perky boobs and the cutest giggle. I flirted with her a ton, and we were good friends. One night she tells me she likes me too, like a lot. But she doesn't treat boys well. She uses them, and she didn't want to hurt me. So we both agreed that we really loved each other as people, but wouldn't work out romantically. So we adopted each other as brother and sister. We looked enough alike that people believed we were step-siblings, and as fucking weird as it sounds, I'm happy that we were able to stay in each other's lives in a big way without the complications of romance. She was of course, still super hot, so I did associate the whole brother/sister dynamic with being super attracted to the little sister. Weird side effect. I'm being brave. This is my main account, and if anyone ever decides to Google my username I use throughout my accounts, then they'll see this within the first week of posting. I have this weird attraction to enemas and forcing pee through the tube into the ass. Specifically for men. This is why I question whether I'm straight or bi. Still think I'm more straight. This was actually my first dabble in gay porn outside of lesbian, so I guess that's the reason as I've ventured into more extreme videos to satisfy my decreasing interest. I also have an attraction to clavicles/collarbone. The bones present and pronounced in a woman's neck. This one is the fault of my best friend. I honestly never even noticed a girl's neck before I went to her 15th birthday. This was years ago now. Damn. Already 4. She was in a dress obviously, so a lot of her chest and neck were exposed and her clavicle was the most defining feature of her. I guess she's also the reason why I like partially buff girls.